So, joining me at the moment is Dave DeAndrea, citizen extraordinaire of Greenwich, and I am also joined by State Representative Fred Camillo. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks, Jen. Good morning.
Great to be here, Jen.
Good morning. Busy lives and schedules you both lead, so I do appreciate the time you take today. And the reason that we're here today is we're talking from the government and citizen standpoint. We're talking about the issues that are impacting Greenwich residents most directly. From your standpoint, Fred, and from yours, Dave, as well, because private citizen, you're involved in many committees, clubs, organizations, longtime taxpayer to the town of Greenwich and state of Connecticut. So the issues that Fred's working on have the most impact on you and your constituents as well. So Fred, Dave, let me start with you. As a voter in the upcoming election, what do you think the issues are that are most impacting you as a Greenwich resident?
Well, fortunately, as a Greenwich resident, I should say, I've been blessed to have been able to live here my whole life. We are known to pay the most of the bill upstate. So taxes are foremost. And as you know, they've been just constantly going up with this administration that's in play up there. So taxes are very important. Another important matter is transportation. As you know, it's getting to be a real hassle. Getting to places 95 is not an easy task. Security. There's just, healthcare. There's so many, but we really need to get a handle on government spending. And I think it's getting totally out of control.
It's so true. And Fred, as you know, this is safe to say it's a popular election this year, a hot button election. There is so much on the line from the local standpoint to the national standpoint. There's so much on the line. Talk to us about your positions on the issues that Dave just mentioned. And I think Dave is raising larger points that it's beyond the local. We're facing issues from the state and national level as well.
Sure, Jen, it's a great question, and I agree with Dave. I mean, when you look at the taxes, some people say, well, it's because there's no Democratic representation from areas like towns like Greenwich, which is not only not true. In fact, I was pointing out the other day, every 2 years, there's a proposal to put a statewide property tax on any property that's $500,000 or more, which would hit almost every every home and property in Greenwich, Darien, New Canaan, and the money would go to distressed cities on an as-needed basis. So we would get nothing from that, and we defeat it all the time. And we do that by not only having all the unanimous Republican opposition, but we reach out to Democrats who represent suburban towns and tell them, explain our position, and they agree with that, and they so we actually do coalesce and have been able to stop a lot of really harmful things. Now, when it comes to the big budget and big ticket items, that's where the agreements break down. However, now they don't have a supermajority anymore, so now they do have to listen to us more. And the closer we get, the more important that becomes, because then the moderate Democrats and the few conservatives are left up there in the Democratic Party, they agree with us and they have voted with us on this. So, years ago when there was 114 to 37 majority,
not much must have been done.
Well, no, it was so lopsided that the Democratic leadership would let the more moderate and conservative Democrats take a walk and not even vote, or even vote with us because they didn't need the votes.
Right.
Now that's not the case anymore. And it's only going to we picked up 27 seats in the last few years, and I think in the next 2 to 4 years, I think you'll see a change in leadership.
Obviously, a bipartisan effort is always ideal, and bridging the gap is what's going to make government most effective. So it sounds like progress is being made on that front. Let's specifically talk about the business climate that has been created under this administration at the state level. That you have businesses that are really not looking to stay here. They're looking to leave and set up shop elsewhere. The difficulty in starting a business and growing a business because of the tax implications under the current administration. Discuss that, if you will.
Sure. It's not only businesses, it's individuals. The Yankee Institute did a study a few years ago, and they linked it to an IRS study. An IRS measures migration by tax returns. And the IRS found that between 2011 and 2013, 38 people a day left Connecticut.
38 people a day.
A day. Net loss. So,
Excuse me, for people, not businesses.
right. So what I'm saying is if the people are leaving, that does impact the businesses, not only for people, entrepreneurs, but people who are frequenting those businesses, they're patronizing those businesses. So it's a huge problem. I've seen have emails sent to me over the years from companies saying, "Look what North Carolina just sent me," and it's amazing. And they say, their employees can go down there, they can buy a 3,000 square foot home and pay $1,500 in property tax a year.
I just lost my cousin to that, actually. They just moved up. They moved down south.
Can't blame them.
It's hard to make it work here. And, this is geographically such a beautiful, beautiful and well-positioned area. You're close to Manhattan. You're not that far from Boston. You have everything from urban and suburban, a great mixture. It's an ideal place to stay, but it just becomes problematic to stay under the current system.
Yeah, those are great points. Our proximity, as you said, pointing out to New York and Boston, to the hospitals, to the great university.
Yes, Yale, New Haven system.
Sure, we have an educated citizenry. The landscape is beautiful. Talking